Hello, this is Giovanni Leonore, and this is the fifth video in the series, Why It Is That Relationships Fall Apart, and what you can do to improve and encourage your relationship to grow. Today's topic is, what does it mean to be truthful? Many people will say, well, that's simple, Giovanni, to tell the truth. Well, I know many of you adopt that belief, but I want you to listen to this video, and at the end, perhaps you'll be able to revisit that question and modify your definition of what it means to be truthful. So what I want to share with you is indeed an actual scenario, a situation that happened in my marriage many years ago. My wife's brother was getting married, and we had agreed to give him a gift, and it was a cash gift of $100, and wedding went great. We traveled to where he was getting married and enjoyed the time together and returned home. About 6 months later, my brother announced his engagement, and it was really exciting for me because it's my only brother and I was already married, and now he was going to join the marriage club and we could do things as a couple. And so we started planning for that wedding. In fact, it really took a lot of planning because he was living in Phoenix, Arizona. We were in Indiana, and so we had to make plans for travel, lodging, and budget for that. And my wife and I, at that time, we had no children, and so it would just be the two of us traveling. On top of that, my brother announced that he wanted me to be the best man, and that was really exciting for me. So my wife and I started budgeting, and we agreed that we not only needed a budget for the trip, we were also going to stay a few days after the wedding since it was such a long trip to kind of just relax and vacation. But I also needed a budget for the bachelor party that I would be throwing him. So we traveled to Phoenix, Arizona, where he was married, and we had a bachelor party. It was a great time. His friends, local friends, and friends from high school came, and it was just a really nice time. We also knew that when we were doing this bachelor party there was a casino, and the possibility of ending up in the casino was very likely. And so, sure enough, my wife and I had also budgeted some money for the casino. And so, as we were in the casino playing an hour and a half later, I find myself making money. Most people don't go to the casino to make money, they go to lose money, but in that case, I was actually winning money. And so, about an hour and a half later, I'm a couple $100 ahead. About 30, 45 minutes later, I'm $400 ahead. In fact, that means I had my original $100 that I actually had started with, and I had $400 winning. Time came to leave. We left, returned to his home. Next day, the wedding, amazing wedding. And at the end of the wedding, as they're getting in the limo, I go and I hug my brother, and I put the $400 winnings that I had from the casino in his back pocket. I tap into his back pocket, and I say to him, please look in your back pocket. Have a great time. He got in the limo, they left. My wife and I stayed a few more days in Phoenix. We returned home to South Bend, Indiana. And when we came home, back in those days, I may be aging myself, but do you remember digital answering machines? And these machines usually were on the wall, and most people had house phones at that time. Cell phones weren't as much popular as they are today. And so as we came in, I could see there was 11 messages flashing on our digital answer machine. And as I was taking the suitcases in, my wife presses, and it says, you have 11 new messages. First message was something work-related. Second message brought chills down my spine. I could hear my brother talking and his wife in the background, and he was saying, Kathy and I would like to thank you, Giovanni and Kim, so much for the $400. They are coming in handy. You know, I'm going to tell you, that I think was one of the first times in our young marriage at that time where our marriage really, really suffered. My wife looked at me and she was very hurt. In fact, she had a look of disappointment, hurt, distrust. She had felt deceived. So she said to me, you gave him what? $400? And I'm like, no. I gave him $100 just like you and I agreed. The casino gave him $400. In fact, I even tried selling her that all I did was transport the money and deliver the money from the casino to my brother. And as I hear myself saying this, it sounds really silly, but that's what I was trying to sell her. it didn't go well. I mean, clearly my wife was upset, felt lied to, deceived. In fact, here's what happens when you aren't truthful. When you're not truthful and the person finds out, they start questioning everything in the past. They start looking at different situations and start questioning, were you truthful then? Were you truthful then? Because once they feel that you are being deceitful, and in my case, I was not being accountable. In fact, I was backpedaling, front pedaling, sideways pedaling, trying to avoid accountability for my behavior. She started questioning everything. Our marriage suffered. We recuperated, and 27 years later, here we are. Being truthful is not just telling the truth. See, when you are not open, transparent, when you don't share information that is relevant to the conversation at hand or relevant to the relationship, see, that is the absence of truthfulness. So truthfulness simply is being transparent with the person you're speaking with and sharing information that is relevant to the conversation or relevant to the relationship. The absence of that is really deceiving, is the lack of truthfulness, the absence of truth. Now, I know some of you may say, really, Giovanni? Listen. Some people will even say, you know what? I answer the question that is asked. If someone wants more information, they need to ask another question, or maybe ask the right question. See, what you're doing is you're avoiding detection. You're actually playing this hide and seek game with information because you know that the information that you're withholding, if released, may be damaging to you, the person, or the relationship. But to be truthful simply means to be transparent with the person you're speaking of in reference to the topic of conversation or in reference to the relationship. There's many things that go on throughout my day that I don't share with my wife. I may come home and she says, how was your day? I may choose and pick what I share with her. But if something happened that day that is directly related to the relationship or directly related to the topic at hand, me not sharing that with her is the absence of truthfulness. I'm going to close with this. My wife and I have gone through different times where we are trying to, lose weight and watch what we eat and maybe get healthier. And one time we were on this Atkins diet. Some of you may remember that. And we were monitoring, not only our carb intake, but our sugar, our protein, our calories. And one day I slipped. On the way home, I stopped and got a bucket of fried Kentucky Fried Chicken. In fact, chickens, because there was a lot of chicken in that bucket. And I ate that on the way home. I had about an hour and a half travel. And 10 minutes before I got home, I stopped at a gas station and washed my hands, washed my face, degreased the steering wheel. In the last 10 minutes home, I drove with the windows open so I could air out the car. When I got home, my wife said, how was your day? I said, it was great. In my mind, I'm thinking, I just had a bucket of chicken. But the truth was that when she asked me, how was your day? I didn't share with her about the bucket of chicken. And she didn't ask me what I ate. She didn't ask me if I was hungry. Had she, I would have. But see, what I was doing was I was withholding information that was relevant to the conversation, even more so relevant to the relationship, because we had been keeping each other accountable as to what we were eating. We were monitoring what we were eating. And the fact that I didn't share that with her, when I did, a few days later, her response was real simple. Why did you lie to me? And I said, Kim, I didn't lie. She says, no, that's a lie. And interestingly enough, as the years have gone by, I'm learning more and more about what really needs to happen in a relationship. Not just to sustain it, to grow the relationship. I've been with my wife 27 years, married 25, and I like to think that I will be with her another 25, 30 perhaps, God willing, forever. And so the goal is that if my relationship is good today, I want it to be better next year, and better the next year after that. Look, we're going to struggle. There's going to be things that will come up. But when you do a global overview of the relationship yearly, it ought to be better this year than last. Watching these videos may assist you in that journey. Now, some of you say, Giovanni, I like my definition of truthfulness a whole lot better than yours. My answer to you is, how has it worked out for you so far. Perhaps the reason you're watching this video is because you're looking and seeking for tools and skills to improve your relationship. So my challenge to you is this: try this definition and see how things improve. If they do, please leave a comment. If you like, click like, and if you subscribe, even better. Until then, next time.